Hey everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Marvin Vettori calling out Israel Adesanya, saying his fight was boring, and more. Israel Adesanya got the job done on Saturday night at UFC 276, successfully defending his middleweight title against Jared Cannonier via unanimous decision. Cannonier was the clear-cut #1 contender, and while he went the distance against Adesanya, there was little doubt that the last stylebender actually won the fight by the end of the 25 minutes. Now, here comes Marvin Vettori to pour cold water on Adesanya's celebrations, saying the fight was boring, and calling for another title shot if he gets past Robert Whittaker later this year. This is what Vettori stated in a recent tweet. "Reality is this was so boring people walked off the arena after 3 rounds. The division needs a new champ, and it's gonna happen very soon. 9 weeks from today, we're making a statement. Italy will have its first UFC champion soon. #the Italian dream." Vettori lost twice to Adesanya, the first time back in 2018 by split decision, the second time at UFC 263 in June of last year via unanimous decision. Still, Vettori believes he's going to get another crack at the title if he gets past former champion Robert Whittaker at UFC Paris in September. Vettori last fought in October last year when he beat Paulo Costa in a catchweight fight after the Brazilian wasn't able to make the 185-pound limit. Do you agree with Vettori here? Do you feel that Adesanya fought a boring bout over the weekend? And do you think Vettori will beat Whittaker at UFC Paris? Tai Tuivasa shares DMs from Jon Jones. Tai Tuivasa's hilarity knows no bounds, and he's recently called for Jon Jones to basically refriend him on social media and even offered to party with him. The two fighters recently DM'd each other on Instagram, and Tuivasa posted some of their exchange. This is what he posted. "You sound off your head. I'd out party you too, I reckon. Just saying. But yeah, Mary had her little lamb too and I smoked her. Whatever, bruh. When you come back, I'll still be around. You want to warm up lamb roast? I'll be waiting. Jon Jones, good luck with your beer company. Cheers, I'll send you some. I don't need it. You keep it. LOL, stop writing." Sweet, you stop writing. In the caption of this post, Tuivasa basically called on Jones to add him, saying he'd love to have a drink with him with his new drink company, Drink West. Tuivasa is known for being such a lovable, happy-go-lucky fighter and partier, while Jones has had his fair share of problems while intoxicated that has infamously involved the cops more than once. Both men are in the UFC's heavyweight division, and while Tuivasa is on an incredible 5-fight winning streak, all knockout finishes, Jones has yet to make his debut in the division. There's talk about a potential fight against former heavyweight champion Stipe Miocic for later this year. Meanwhile, Tuivasa is gearing up to return to the cage against Ciryl Gane at UFC Paris on September 3rd. What do you think about this whole exchange? Pedro Munhoz released his statement after no contest decision due to eye injury. The Sean O'Malley vs. Pedro Munhoz fight left much more to be desired, as the fight was called off in the middle of the second round due to an eye injury to Munhoz. Following the UFC 276 broadcast, there were some questions, especially by O'Malley, as to the severity of the eye injury, with Sugar Sean saying he was surprised that the fight was cancelled. Munhoz, who went into this fight having lost 2 straight and dropped 4 of his last 5 fights, was taking on an O'Malley who was 3-0 in his last 3 bouts and looking to get into the top 10 of the bantamweight rankings with a win. In the recent video he posted to his IG account, to explain briefly what happened in the fight against Sean O'Malley, I was poked in the eye in the first round but kept fighting and was hit with a low blow shortly after. The fight restarted and we exchanged a few strikes. In the second round, that's when I suffered another eye poke. I couldn't see anything for 20 minutes. I was taken to the hospital and they used a special eye drop that made my eye numb so they could open my eye. They did an exam and the medical report I have is that there's a scratch in the cornea all the way around it. I couldn't open my eye because of that and I couldn't see anything. The referee asked if I could see at all and the doctor decided to stop the fight. That's what happened tonight. After this, he posted a photo of the medical report in which it stated he suffered an abrasion of the right cornea and has acute right eye pain. It's unclear when Munhoz would be cleared to fight and what the timetable for his return would look like. Some are calling for an immediate rematch to be scheduled between Sugar Sean and Munhoz, although there's been nothing official on that front, and it's likely the UFC is going to wait on the prognosis from doctors before moving forward with this. What do you think about Munhoz's statement? Do you want to see the Munhoz-O'Malley fight get rebooked? And if not, who do you think O'Malley should fight next? Don't forget to take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to stay up to date on all of the latest fight news. Cowboy Cerrone says he was keen to retire just before the Conor McGregor fight. Saturday, July 2nd, 2022. That was the last time we'll ever see Donald Cowboy Cerrone inside the octagon, as he retired from the sport of MMA in front of the crowd in Las Vegas, Nevada. Cerrone, one of the most prolific fighters in UFC history and no doubt a fan favorite, ended his career tied for second most wins in UFC history with 23, tied for second most UFC finishes with 16, tied for second most fights in UFC history with 38, and tied for most performance of the night bonuses with 18. His fight against Jim Miller last Saturday was actually a rematch of their 2014 bout, which Cerrone had won all those years ago. While Miller was able to submit Cerrone in the second round, it didn't diminish the night for the 39-year-old Cowboy, who later stated that he knew his time in the sport was up and was just looking for the perfect spot to end it. This is what he stated in a mostly feel-good post-fight press conference for UFC 276.
Before I fought McGregor, I knew it was close. Then I did the McGregor fight, and then I took another fight. I was just going through the motions. I didn't enjoy it, didn't love it, and I knew the time was soon, and I just had to pick the right time.
Cerrone fought McGregor back in January 2020 and lost in the first round by a knockout. He did have 2 fights against Joe Lozon scheduled for earlier this year, but they both fell through for different reasons, mostly on account of an illness on his part and then a knee injury to Lozon just before their rescheduled fight at UFC Austin late last month. What is your favorite Donald Cerrone moment in the UFC? Let us know in the comments. Chael Sonnen questions the UFC 276 confrontation between Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler. During the UFC 276 event on Saturday, there was one altercation that did not take place in the octagon that is getting a lot of attention online. Thanks to UFC welterweight Gilbert Burns, who was sitting cage side near the whole exchange, we got to see a small video that showed lightweight fighters Dustin Poirier and Michael Chandler get into a verbal exchange with Poirier throwing expletives and getting clearly heated. It's unclear what prompted the confrontation, but we did see Michael Chandler vaguely address Poirier in a tweet posted on July 4th. Simple truth in life. You aren't yourself when you're that thirsty. Keep your cool, be a professional, especially in public. Your insecurities are showing. It looks like Chael Sonnen is questioning what happened here, and he's a little bemused by the fact that it's Poirier who got angry. Sonnen talks about how Chandler called out Conor McGregor and Charles Oliveira in previous interviews, but was quiet over Poirier. The Diamond seemed like he was a little aggrieved about that, with Chandler saying that he simply forgot about Poirier. This is what Sonnen stated about the confrontation in a recent video on his YouTube channel.
Dustin Poirier is mad. He is offended. He is the aggrieved party because Michael Chandler did not call him out. I mean, it's the opposite. Michael Chandler called out Conor McGregor by name. Conor wasn't upset.
What do you make of Sonnen's comments here? Today's video was packed with some juicy stories from the fight world. What are your thoughts about what's going on in MMA? Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to see more videos just like this. See you next time.